So I'm going to roll out a slab of clay for you guys. I have a block of clay that I just cut off of the large block. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I do not roll it on the table. There are a couple of things you need to roll out a slab of clay. The first is a slab mat. That way it doesn't stick to the table. It is really disappointing when you have rolled out a slab of clay and it is stuck to the table. The second thing that you're going to need, of course, is a rolling pin. The third thing are two guides to help you roll out your clay to a certain thickness. Once you start rolling out the clay, what's going to happen is that you aren't going to have to know how thick it is by just looking at it. You're going to be able to know to have it always be the right thickness because you want your clay to be exactly as thick as these guys are, and the rolling pin is going to prevent you from rolling it too thin, and then you want a rib. So I'm going to put my guides next to my slab, and I'm going to tell this boss if I want my slab to be round, I'm going to make sure that I start off with a square. If I want my slab to be a rectangle, I'm going to try and keep it like a rectangle. And if I want my slab to be square, I want it to start off with a square. If you noticed, I started hitting it with the rolling pin. I'm just tapping it. I'm making sure not to hit the edge of the rolling pin. My rolling pin is flat, and you can actually see where the moisture from the clay is on the rolling pin and made it wet because I'm hitting it like this. If you just sort of do this, you're going to dent your clay, but you're not actually going to do anything to it. So once you hit it in one direction, you're going to rotate it, and then you're going to whack it the other direction. I always start off, and you can see by how I've hit it. I hit it from the center. I go one way. I go the other way. And you can see how even it is. And again, if I roll my rolling pin over, you can actually see where I'm hitting the clay. Dead set in the middle of the rolling pin. This is the part that's getting the moisture on it from the clay, not the edge. The edge is always on the edge of your rolling pin. So I'm about ready. I'm going to hit it until it is, I don't know, about a ½ inch thick. So if I push my dowel, it's about double the size of my dowel. Like you can see where the dowel is, and then you can see where the clay is. So now I'm going to start rolling, and again, I'm always going to rotate my clay. I'm going to start in the center. I'm going to roll out. I'm going to move my dowels out of the way. Put them back. I always have my dowels touching my clay. Roll from the center, roll out. Notice how I don't go all the way to the edge. I don't go all the way to the edge because I want to make sure I keep that edge nice and thick. I'm going to rotate from the center, out. From the center, always, always, always out from the center. I'm still not always going all the way to the end. Okay, so I have my slab pretty much rolled out. This is about how thick I want it to be. If I want it to be thinner, I can always not use my dowels at this point, but I'm not rolling to the end. And I'm going to turn it. Always, always turn your work. Okay. Now I'm all done. My slab is perfect. The the last thing that I need is a rib. No matter how well you've done this and how smooth it is, you need to push the clay together. So when we are done rolling a slab, we always compress our clay. It also makes it super smooth. I am not scraping, so I'm not holding my rib straight up and down. I am holding it so that it is almost flat to the clay. This is making my clay strong, by the way. It's not just aesthetics, it's to make your clay strong. Push it down on the slab mat. And compress your clay. By the way, if you are seeing lines in your clay like this, you are using the corner to compress the clay and you are pushing into it. You're carving that clay. You don't want to. The idea of this is to make it smooth. And it takes a really long time to get those lines out if you put them in, so you really don't want to do that. So make sure that we are always using this side. Also, look, this stays relatively clean if you do it correctly. And that's it. That's how you roll a slab of clay out.